Hey, my friends, welcome to Fractions for Tuesday. Today we're doing just kind of the opposite of what we've been doing. We're going to start with a mixed number and turn it into an improper fraction. So we've been going the other way, but now we're going to see, can we take 1 1/4 and turn that into an improper fraction? And the answer is yes, we can. So let's think about how we do that. So we're in fourths, right? So we're talking about fourths. So 1, aka 1 can equal 2 halves, 3/3, 4/4, 5/5, 6/6, 7/7. It just means, like if it's fourths, it means it's been cut into 4 pieces, but you got all 4 of them. You got that one, you got that one, you got this one, and you got that one. So 1 is 4/4. So we're talking about fourths. So we know that 1 is going to equal 4/4. I'm going to write a 4/4 for each whole number that I see. Oh, and I only see 1. Okay. And I'm going to add the 1/4. And I'm going to do the next line down. I'm going to just press equal, do equal again. And then I'm just going to add those up. What's 4/4 plus 1/4? Well, what's 4 plus 1? 5. 5 what? 5/4. So 1 1/4 is 5/4. And let's draw that just to make sure that we're right. So 1 1/4. I might draw it like this. So I have the whole 1. And then on this one, I just got 1/4. 1 1/4 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/4. Same thing. So yeah, same thing. Let's try it again. Let's say 3 1/2 equals what as fractions? Okay, well, halves. 1 equals 2 halves, 3/3, 4/4, 5. Okay, stop, Daniel. We don't have to keep going. We say that 1 2 halves right there. Oh yeah, 1 is, well, it's been cut into 2 pieces, but we've got both of them, right? So 1 is 2 halves. So we know we're talking about 2 halves there. Okay, so how many holes do we have? We have 3 of them. So we're going to write a 2 halves for each hole because 1 is 2 halves. So you've got a 2 half plus 2 half plus 2 half plus 1 half. Okay, so we've got 1 hole, 2 holes, 3 holes, and a half. So 3 1/2 equals, now just add these up. Well, let's see, 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. So 3 1/2 is 7 halves. So notice how I looked at the hole and I'm like, oh yeah, it's 3. And 3 holes, and a hole is AKA in this case 2 halves. So I found 2 halves. So I did 2 halves, 2 halves, 2 halves because I have 3 of them. 1, 2, 3, and I just added the fraction at the end. And you just add them up. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1 is 7 halves. Okay, one more, and then you guys can do a few yourself. So let's say I have 2 1/8. Okay, so remember, a whole 1 is also known as, in this case, 8/8. Just means I have the whole thing's been cut in 8 pieces, but I've got all of them. So a whole is 8/8. Okay, in this case, I have how many holes? 2. So I'm going to write 8/8 once and twice because I have 2 of them. So I have 2 holes. So 8/8 happens 2 times. Happens 1 time for each hole. And then I've got an 1/8 still. And now, once I have an 8/8, 1 aka 8/8, 8/8 for each of the holes. I had 2, so I wrote it 2 times. And then when I add the 1/8 on this side too, it's the same amount of stuff on both sides. And now I can just add these guys up. Whoa. So 8 plus 8 is 16. Plus 1 is 17. 17 what? Eighths. We're talking about eighths. So 2 and 1/8 is 17/8. So that's how you're going to do these problems on page 38. And they might try to set you up a little differently than I did it. Don't worry too much how they try to set you up. In fact, don't worry about it. Just see if you can get the answer. So for 2 and 2/3, maybe just don't even worry about that. Just see if you can write it your own answer over here. So 2 and 2/3. Okay, so we're talking about thirds. So notice how they have 2 holes here. So they have 3/3 there, 3/3 there. Oh, they even draw it for you. And then 2/3. So how many thirds? Well, you could just count them up. Or you could do it the way I did it right there. It'd be 3/3 plus 3/3 plus 2/3 equals, or in this case, they say, let's do this one. They say 2 and 3/8 equals, we're talking about eighths, right? 8/8. So a hole is 8/8, but there are 2 holes. So 8/8 plus 8/8 plus 3/8 equals page 38. So yeah, don't worry too much if they set you up a little differently than I did. You don't need to use their setup. You just need to try to get the right answer.